Good? Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Raleigh Roadshow. We're here downtown Cary and we're checking out a new band here called Triplicity. We'd love for you guys to check them out, and I'm going to start on this side and you guys let the audience know who you are and where you come from, what you play and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm Bongo John. I play the trap kit and percussion in combination, and I am also into the odd time and as well as even, but if it's odd, it works.
Okay. Well, and we'll start over here. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff.
My name is Frank. I'm the bass player. I'm actually originally from Maryland. Actually, San Francisco by way of Maryland.
My name's Yontz. I'm the guitar player. I've been in Raleigh for 22 years now. Most recently moved up before that from Florida.
Cool. Well, we'd like to talk about how you guys got started in the music business and what started you. You know, we all have our experiences as children and all that good stuff. We can start over here and let the audience know. I mean, what made you want to become a musician and got you to this point? People that influenced you, even those that pushed you to be a great musician like you are here.
Well, thanks. You kind of know. I knew when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old when I heard the record that I just wanted to play. I wanted to play. I had the Beatles' Revolver. That was my first record. And I just couldn't stop listening to it, starting it over and over again, playing it. And then from there, luckily, I got a guitar and from my parents, and then the school band, and from there it just snowballed. I kind of put it to a rest for a while in my 20s, thinking that, well, it's not making me any money. I really need to grow up a little bit, and that didn't work. So came right back to it. You know, your life is short. You gotta do what really means a whole lot to you, and sometimes it doesn't pay the bills as well as you should, but you gotta do it.
Well, for me, it was, I guess, the bug bit in 7th grade. It was a guitar class. I had a teacher named Mr. Gale, who was really into music of all kinds, but more than anything, he was just really into sharing his passion for it. And I never forget sitting there the first time trying to figure out what an E string was, and all of a sudden behind me I hear this guy playing power chords, and he's playing Iron Man by Black Sabbath. Well, as soon as I heard that, I realized I was never going to be able to put down the guitar. And a year later, I started on bass because they needed one for the jazz band. And the same guy, Mr. Gale, said, "Hey, why don't you play bass?" I said, "Okay." And I discovered that I could get just as loud, if not louder. So I've been doing that pretty much ever since now, about 28, 29 years, I guess. And like Yontz was saying, sometimes it's hard to make a living at it. I know that firsthand since most of what I do is production work for audio. But if it's really bitten you hard like it did for me, then there's no choice but to go with it. And this band is really just an extension of that, because the kind of stuff I do day to day for music production is not quite as liberating as it is playing with these guys, because we've got a special thing going with this trio, and it's been a lot of fun.
And that's great to hear. I mean, we have some younger viewers in the audience too, to hear that it started out really young for you guys and how it influenced you. So that's nice to hear.
I acquired a snare drum at the age of 8, and I took lessons on snare drum for about 4 years at the University of Oklahoma from percussion ensemble students. And then after learning my chops, I finally acquired a drum kit in my early teens. Began experimenting with noises of various sorts with keyboards, and then got into percussion in my late teens, and then in my 20s started playing out with bands and various different incarnations of everything from rock to funk, a band called Pumpasaurus back in Oklahoma, a band called The New Tribe, which was played in front of the Washington Monument in front of about 50,000 people. There's Toad Wet Sprocket and Joan Jett. I actually saw her eating a sandwich, but thought maybe I shouldn't talk to her directly. But we played, it was a C-SPAN event, and it was a Now Raleigh, and that was my 15 minutes of fame. But I'm still riding on the coattails of that, but nonetheless, we're going to rock tonight. We're looking forward to it.
Great, and I've heard you guys before. sort of a jazz influenced rock,
It's kind of
some of
hard
that,
to
yeah.
find.
Yeah,
That's what
it
we
is. It is hard to find. I mean, I've even thought of Rush comes to mind.
Little bit.
Great,
A lot of
a
people
little Rush, a little Avenged Sevenfold-ish. You get a little heavier when you go into that genre, but you know, and some other great bands that you know you just yeah.
King Crimson is so they've influenced us a little bit there.
King Crimson, definitely, yeah.
It's been the fun thing about this band is we all have we draw from different influences, although we have enough commonality to keep it interesting. And in fact, of late we discovered when we actually sit down to write original material, which is mostly what we play, it comes together really fast. And that's because we're all sort of reading from the same page, but we have enough variation to keep it interesting.
Yeah, when I saw you guys the first time, I felt the even Dream Theater-ish and Trans-Siberian Orchestra, those type of yeah, those guys, yeah, really, those are musicians, and that's what we love to have on the show here. Yeah, absolutely, and you know, but we'll talk about it. I'll give the mic and talk for a minute about some bands that you national, local, anything like that. So.
Yeah, some of the drummers in the bands that have influenced my playing, Stuart Copeland, the Police, and Billy Cobham of Mahavishnu Orchestra, Bill Bruford, and Terry Bozzio, who just came through town. He didn't play for too long. He's 63 years of age, in great respect for his clinicianship and amazing drumming. You know, Zappa, of course, figures into the equation. Some, you know, Chad Wackerman, but you know, there's too many to mention.
at Jackpiner Pub. This is the Raleigh Road Show, and I'm Tracy. And we're here watching Triplicity, and I'm with
Veronica Glenn.
Veronica and
Eric Williams.
all right. So what did y'all think of Triplicity this evening?
Oh, I think they're a wonderful band. We go to all their shows. I just love them. They have such original music, and they are so talented. Both of us go to all of their shows.
Okay. So y'all have some type of affiliation with them or anything like that?
Yes, her mother is my mother-in-law, and the Yontz is her boyfriend.
Okay.
And we come to all of their shows.
All their shows?
Yeah.
So what are some of the different places you know they're going to be performing at in the upcoming future?
I believe they have an upcoming show in downtown Raleigh at the Poorhouse. They're at the Poorhouse quite a bit in downtown Raleigh, as well as Jackpiner.
Okay. Well, remember to watch the Raleigh Road Show, and that way you can keep track of what Triplicity is going to be playing up and coming, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
To name your favorites, I mean, there's all genre, all across the board. Here we go.
Same kind of thing as with Bongo. I've got a myriad influences. There's guys who like Anthony Jackson, who goes back and plays with the OJs, plays with Al Di Meola. Another guy named Jimmy Johnson, who plays with everyone from James Taylor to Alan Holdsworth, who's a fusion guitarist. Beautiful fretless player named Mark Egan is probably one of my bigger influences because I happen to play fretless. He's actually played with Pat Metheny a lot. He's also done stuff with like Joan Osborne back in the 90s. As far as bands, again, so many to list going back. I mean, there's the jazzy stuff like The Weather Report, which is fusion. Sucre stuff. There's also The Rush, Metallica. I was a huge Ride the Lightning fan. Also got into punk, big time punk in the Washington, D.C. straight edge scene. Minor Threat, Dag Nasty, The Minutemen, all those guys. Locally, of late, I've actually heard a lot of bands since coming to North Carolina that have been more about melody and singing. And some local guys I'm really big on are The New Reverie, Saints Apollo, just really nice vocal-based bands with strings in them, which is about 180 degrees for most of my background. So it's been a treat.
As far as I go, it started with Jimi Hendrix and David Gilmour. Those two guys are probably 80% of my influences. But I also like, when I was in high school, I was going through some pretty legitimate jazz in a very, very good high school band that used to go on to state competitions all the time. And that kind of got me started in the odd meters, and it kind of got me started understanding a little bit more about the theory of music and so on. And I'm kind of incorporate the two together. I mean, as far as the type of songwriting I like those type of guitar players, and the type of songs that really hit me are probably a little different from these guys. That's what makes things work. It's more in the vein of Tool, Nine Inch Nails, 80s or 90s alternative rock. That's really the type of songs that sit well with me. So you put all that together and you've got quite a mix here.
Yeah, Soundgarden.
Spyro Gyra.
Spyro Gyra.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean a lot of influences, and it's great to come out and see bands like you guys. One of the last things I was going to ask, other projects and things that you guys have, anything on the docket that you do besides the band that involve music here?
Yes, there's a band called Rubber Gypsy. It's rubbergypsy.com, and it's Triplicity NC/.com, and that's yes, as far as other bands, this is my main gig. I am a recording engineer by trade, and that's my stock and trade. Yes.
Recording engineer, done anybody that the audience might know about?
Big Something is a band that's recording in the studio, and I'm working in conjunction with John Custer, who's worked with DAG and Corrosion of Conformity. And I rent the room out to Custer when he likes to, and I make sure the integrity of the audio is resilient.
That's good. Any other projects you got going?
The day-to-day stuff for me is most often production work for an online company called Pure Vocals. They send me like demo stuff they want me to do based on music people submit and want to have it fleshed out and orchestrated. I also do cues and underscoring for some stuff. Had some work placed in shows like Ellen DeGeneres, Anderson Cooper, Dr. Drew on CNN. That's all like 30 to 60 second stuff, and it's just crank out as much of it as you can type things. As far as on the personal side, I've done stuff, I guess most recently with Sean Aiken, who's a very talented acoustic guitar player. In fact, I met through Bongo. We've had a trio going with him for a little while. I think that's a bit of a hiatus because he's had another, I think his third child. So as you can imagine, he's got his hands full. But yeah, outside of those two things, those three things, I guess, that's pretty much where most of my time goes.
I've had a solo album I released a while ago, Electric Jam, and I'm working on another one called Pandemonium, and that's mostly stuff that's just a little too weird to do in a band. I just want to take it on my own and call it my own. And I got a side project, Triplicity's 90% of my time, but my side project's called Brutus, and it's just floor-on-the-floor riff rock, beer drinking music.
And that's what we like to hear here on the show. We got a lot of beer drinkers that watch us at 11:30 on Thursday and Friday night, so we'll fit in just fine. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time to come on the show here. It was wonderful to listen to. You know, it's going to be a real treat for the fans because you guys do a lot of original stuff. So everybody, hey, stay tuned. We're going to have Triplicity playing some of their original music. And as always, we ask you guys to go out, support our local music scene, watch the Raleigh Road Show, and together we'll help keep our local bands and musicians show on the road. See you next time.